Alright. Let's get this shit. Alright, give me just a second, make sure everything's up and running. Get this all set up here. Here. Let's do that. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Here we go. Alright. What's up? Welcome back. If you were here for the last one, you saw that we lost to the Red Sox in extra innings. So that was not good. But we're back. We're playing them again. This controller is stick drift. I would, go over one, but so that's just a heads up. So in the last one, it's fixed. However, this is the problem. Hand's not even on the controller when it goes to the left. So yeah, there's some serious stick drift. Anyway, we're gonna make do. We're gonna figure out how to make it work. But yeah, after the last game, it was pretty rough, just in general with the hitting. But we'll take a look here in just a second. See, hand's not even on the controller right now. Alright, well, anyway. I do apologize for the last stream being so long, being an hour and a half. I'm going to try to keep this one to being less than that. Hello? Oh, okay. There we go. Jeez. But yeah, so JP, he got 2 hits. He played pretty well. Overall, not too great. JD Martinez definitely was not too impressive. But yeah, hopefully we can see him maybe get a hit soon. But yeah, with that being said, let's go ahead and just get right into this game. Oops. Huh. We're gonna try to make this work. There we go. No. Thank the heavens that did not work. That was a little too close. Alright, hold on. You know what? This is not good. This controller is fairly new too. It's just the only way I can get good audio. So hold on. Okay. Auto fix their roster. Oh my lord. Okay. Okay, hold on. Oh my. Alright, well, guess these will be randomized. No, I had it too. There we go. Okay. So, now that I don't have to worry about the stick drift. let's see. I think Cal's going to be our catcher for sure. Ty at first. Second will be Jorge. Short JP for sure. Third will be. I think after his last game, I think we give Josh Rojas another chance. I really don't see why not. I mean, oh yeah, this controller's starting to give out for sure. Yeah, that's not going to be good. Alright, well, wish me luck on that one. Yeah, I like this lineup. Hold on, let me just do something real quick. Alright, how do I sound? Let me just do something real quick. Alright, how do I sound? Oh, I don't even sound that bad. Alright, how do I sound? Okay, alright, so, yeah, I like this lineup. However, I want JD to bat a little bit higher. Same with Cal. JP, yeah, you're going to lead us off. Julio, have you bat fifth. Perfect, I like this. I like this bottom of the order. Damn. Let me drink some water real quick. Hold on. Had me sound like I'm dying out here. Oh, here. Had me sound like I'm dying out here. Yeah, I think I like this. Have the bulk of our righties bat in the middle of the lineup. Have some lefties on either side with some switch hitters. Yeah, I like that. Let's go for it. Their lineup is... Oh, that's a lot of lefties they're throwing out there. All right. So for Game 2 of the season, we are going to be taking on the Boston Red Sox. They beat us in the home opener. So hopefully we can kind of fight back a little bit this game. We did take them to extra innings, which is a good sign. This audio sounds bad. Do I sound good?
All right, we'll be back to get this one started after this.
This audio sounds bad. Do I sound good? Yeah, I mean, I sound fine. Man, why is the...
When the season ends. Oh, really?
What was that? Did y'all hear that? Hold on.
When the season ends. Oh, really?
What was that? Oh, okay. Now I get it. Okay, apply changes. All right. So yeah, we're going to be taking them on. We're going to see George Kirby take the mound today. He had 31 starts last year. Went 13-10, not the greatest, but he had an ERA of 3.35 over 190 innings. Had 172 strikeouts with a 23.7% strikeout rate. It's pretty impressive if you ask me. So hopefully we're going to see him, kind of bounce back and repeat that season. So we're going to see Jarren Duran start the lineup for the Red Sox. He's going to look at a slider that was way outside, and it's going to be called for a ball. Duran went 1 for 5 in his last game. However, he did get a home run and an RBI, which effectively kind of put them ahead, or essentially was enough. Rojas will not be able to make the grab, and his throw is a little bit off too. So that'll be a hit for Jarren Duran to start off the game. Not really a great start for the Mariners, but all things being said, could have been worse. And Duran's going to steal a bag now, and that's going to be a stolen base for him. His first of the year, even. So now Vaughn Grissom is up to the plate with a 1-0 count, and he's going to look at a slider right down the middle for a strike. He went 2 for 5 in his last game, had an RBI and a double as well. Grissom going to swing, and he's going to foul this one off, making it a 1-2 count. Kirby definitely can be a pretty effective pitcher, as he's going to get Grissom to line it over to Crawford, who will make the throw, and that's going to be the first out of the top of the first inning. Masataka Yoshida up next, as he had a really good game last game too, as he's going to swing at a pitch here, and that's going to be fouled off, as Kirby is lucky he did not get a little bit more of that pitch. Ooh, good strike there from George Kirby, as that was a fastball down and in, as Yoshida's going to look at a slider off the plate here, and that's going to be a 1-2 count. With Jarren Duran over at second, you really got to be careful. That's definitely some speed you don't want on the base path, as that's going to be a sinker outside the zone. It's going to make it a 2-2 count. Yoshida being very patient with Kirby. Kirby going to get him to swing at a curveball, but he fouls it off. 11 pitches already for George Kirby. What can he do here? He's going to get him to foul it off, still keeping it alive. Two-two's the count here. Kirby with count. And got him. That was a swing and a miss by Yoshida. That was the first strikeout by George Kirby on the season. Now Rafael Devers up to bat. He had an okay game, getting a hit in the last appearance he had, as he looks at a ball there. Kirby now. What can he do? He's going to get him to swing, and that's going to be fouled off, but it will make it a 1-1 count. Kirby now with the windup. Strike called on the very outside corner there, making it a 1-2 count. Pitch clock's winding down. What does George Kirby have in store here? The windup fouled off by Rafael Devers. Counts 1-2 now. Devers being very patient as he fouls it off, keeping it alive. Kirby got him to swing and miss, and that was a nice splitter, and that's going to end the top of the first inning as they leave a man stranded at second base. Let's see, how do I sound? Man stranded at second base. All right, cool. All right, Garrett Whitlock's going to be their starter. He had 10 starts last year, went 5-5 over 71 innings, had an ERA just north of 5, had 72 strikeouts with a 25% strikeout rate. So not necessarily the most effective pitcher, but they're hoping he can kind of get more innings this year, I bet, and kind of, progress with those numbers. J.P. Crawford's going to lead off the Mariners. He's going to look at a circle change there as it's called for a strike. J.P. going 2 for 4 in the last game, as he did everything he possibly could for this offense, as he looks at a sinker just outside of the zone as it's called for as it's now a 1-1 count. JP now going to swing and miss at a change, and that's going to make it a 1-2 count. Crawford definitely one of the more patient batters as we see him take a ball there, as it's going to make it a 2-2 count. And that's not in the zone. That will also be a ball, full count. JP's going to call for a time here as he, excuse me, as he is definitely one of the more patient batters as he fouls that changeup off. It looks like Whitlock might have more of a off-speed tempo here. It's good to know. That's outside of the zone as JP Crawford draws his walk, his first walk of the game at least. I don't know if he got any walks last game, but at the very least it's his first of the game. So now up to bat is Luke Raley, who didn't get a hit last game, but he's hoping to change that. So he looks at a circle change just on the line as it's called for a strike. Raley definitely has some power to his bat. Definitely what he's better at as he swings and misses there as it makes it an 0. Whitlock now gets him to swing and miss as Raley strikes out, as that was not really all that close. Man, what a pitch by Garrett Whitlock. As we see here, the pitch had 6 inches of break with a spin rate of 1,900 RPMs. That is just insane. Luke Raley fooled. Cal Raleigh up to bat now. He also didn't get a hit last game as he takes a ball for the first pitch. It was a sinker just outside of the zone. Last year, he did have 30 home runs, as he definitely has a lot of power in his bat, hence why he is hitting third. Swinging through it and cannot make contact. That's going to be a strike, making it a 1-1 count. Whitlock definitely has some velocity behind some of these pitches, and showing it off early as he gets a circle change to get him fooled. 1-2. Right down the middle, that's hit by Cal Raleigh, but right to the outfield. I believe that's Yoshida out there. That's going to be the second out of the first inning. So we see the batting order here. JP Crawford, Luke Raley, Cal Raleigh, who we've all seen so far. Up next is JD Martinez, Julio Rodriguez, Ty France, Dominic Canzone, Josh Rojas, and Jorge Polanco for the rest of the lineup. And we're seeing their projected their projected averages at least for the year. JD Martinez now up to bat, went 0 for 4 in his last game as he looks at a sinker called for a strike there. Definitely didn't have the best of first games in his last appearance. However, looking to turn that around. A swing and miss at a change up there, as that's going to make it an 0-2 count. Whitlock definitely being quick here. He's going to get him to swing and miss, as it was a wild pitch or fumbled by the catcher, not too sure. Nonetheless, it is still the end of the first inning because that was not even close to being out. I'm just looking at the replay there. So next up, we're going to see Tristan Casas. He had a pretty okay game last time out, but more defensively because he didn't record a hit. However, he is looking to change that. George Kirby tossed him a curveball, and that is demolished. See you later. And just like that, that's his first home run of the season, and that's going to put him up early. It's going to make it a 1-0 game. If there's anything this stadium's known for, it's known for making because of the environment, it's just so much harder to hit a home run. But I don't think that factored in whatsoever there. That ball was absolutely crushed. 398 feet. Oh my. So next up, we have Emmanuel Valdez, who did not record a hit last game. I don't think, at least, anyway. No, his average is a 0. That's a called ball, however. That's a very generous call for Valdez here. And that's going to be a strike, however. Roughly in the same spot, however, but the ump is just, Very particular about his zone today, it looks like. Oh, that was a slider outside of the zone. 2-1 is now the count. George Kirby definitely having a high pitch count so far. That's going to be fouled off. All right, 2-2 now the count for Valdez. Kirby letting the pitch count, or the pitch clock, sorry, kind of go down. He's going to wind up with a throw, fouled off with a curveball there. Very dangerous considering he gave up a home run with that very same pitch. And ball just outside of the zone. This ump is not being very friendly towards the pitchers, or at the very least towards George Kirby. And that's going to be ball 4 and a walk for Manuel Valdez. So now up to bat is Tyler O'Neill. Got one hit last night. That's going to be a swing and a miss with a curveball. He was looking to go yard, but cannot replicate a swing from a couple batters ago, rather, because Manuel Valdez walked. Swing and a miss again at a slider there, as Tyler O'Neill is now down 0-2, yes, in the count. Sorry, I am just fumbling all over my words. As you saw there, Tyler O'Neill at one point did actually play for Seattle. So maybe that's also given him a bit of motivation to go for a homer here. But he's looking at an 0-2 count and fouled it off, keeping it alive. Kirby already looking at 30-plus pitches, and he's only in the second inning. 0-2 is the count to O'Neill. Fouled off once again. Say what you want, but at least he's fouling it off. That is making it very difficult on Kirby right now. 0-2's the count. And he got it right out to the right field. That's going to be a base hit for Tyler O'Neill. This Canzone just doesn't do anything with the ball. Not exactly a great start so far. O'Neill started to recognize some pitches there. As Reese McGuire's up to bat now, the catcher, who did not record a hit last night, but as we've seen before, that can change, but popping it up, and that's going to be an infield fly rule. Ty France with the snag. Trevor Story is now up to bat. He was probably one of the best hitters last night, or rather the game prior, as he's going to foul it off here, making it an 0-1 count. Went 2 for 4 with 2 singles, but just actively being on base can prove to be a problem. As he's looking to replicate it, that's going to be a strike, making it an 0-2 count. Kirby now looking for an out. That's going to be towards France. He got it to Crawford. Back to France. Double play. End of the second inning for the Red Sox. What a play on defense. However, we still had to see Casas go yard, so that's not exactly what we want to see. All right, Julio, let's see what you got. Last game, he went 0 for 4 as he looks at a ball there. That's a slurve, and that's not quite near the zone. Got 2 strikeouts as well, so we kind of want to see him be a little bit more patient. Strikeouts are not something we want to see. That's a slurve right in the zone. That's going to be a 1-1 count. That was a heck of a pitch, too, by Garrett Whitlock. Julio pops it up here. That's going to be an easy out, it looks like, for the center fielder. It's going to be our first out of the second inning now. So, as you can see, Ty France now is up to bat. Not seeing a lot of patience from our batters outside of JP. He drew a walk. Other than that, we're just seeing us swing at everything, pretty much. So that's going to be called for a strike. Ty France was a 34th round pick in the 2015 draft. That is actually kind of insane if you think about it. 0-1 count now, though, for the man as he crushes the ball. However, I don't think that's going to be enough. The left fielder will make the catch for the second out now. As that was Yoshida out and left for the Red Sox, making the routine catch. Dominic Canzone up now to bat. He went yard in the last game, and he's looking to maybe at the very least replicate the RBI count. However, we will see. First pitch, and that's going to be a ball, as that wasn't all that close. Canzone now, he's going to hit that over towards second base. That's going to be thrown over, and that's going to be a routine play. 3 quick outs for this Red Sox defense. You see it right. Jarren Duran is already up to bat, and that is not really a good sign, as it is only the 3rd inning. You gotta wonder if George Kirby is going to make a deep appearance in this game. However, with it being the second turn of the rotation, that's going to be grounded over to Polanco, and that will be the first out of the 3rd. Excuse me, I know that's loud as loud. Vaughn Grissom now up to bat. He's 0 for 1. Looking to get his first on-base appearance, and that's not going to happen as Canzone tracks that down out and right. That's going to be a second out. So far through the second time seeing the top half of this order, or this batting order, Kirby's making quick work of him, so that's actually pretty good to see. Yoshida now up to bat. He's 0 for 1. Going to look at a sinker right in the zone. That's going to be an 0-1 count now for Yoshida. Went 2 for 5 in the last game. However, he's going to look at a curveball that almost hit him as he jumped out of the way, making it a 1-1 count. And he's going to swing at a curve there, as that's going to be the final out of the 3rd inning. Sorry. Yeah, that is a curveball that I threw. I was wondering what I actually threw there. But that was, and that's going to be the final out. So we're going to see Rojas, Polanco, and Crawford for this upcoming bottom half of the inning. So now up to bat is Josh Rojas. He had a homer in the last game, which saved us and sent us into extra innings, but we couldn't get the job done. Looked at a strike there, however. That's going to make it an 0-1 count. That's now a sinker in the zone. That's an 0-2 count. Whitlock, his pitch count's looking pretty low. That's going to be grounded over to second. That's going to be a routine out for Vaughn Grissom over to Tristan Casas. Now up to bat, excuse me, is Jorge Polanco. He also recorded a hit in the last game. However, it'd take quite a while for any of these batters to record a hit. So we're kind of hoping that, it's not a repeat thing. As he did look at a ball there, so it's going to make it a 1-0 count. That's going to be down and outside of the zone, making it a 2-0 count. So we see at the bottom there, Garrett Cole actually got a complete game shutout against the Astros. That's what we like to see. And that was a changeup right in the middle of the zone. Those are the pitches you kind of hope to see him take yard. However, he didn't. And that'll make it a 2-1 count. Polanco, he's going to hit that deep towards left, but Yoshida's going to track it down, making it the second out. And we will now see J.P. Crawford up to bat. Drawing a walk in the first, we kind of hope to see some more patience out of the rest of the batters. However, JP's going to pop it up, and that's not going to be what we want. That's going to be the 3rd and final out of the 3rd inning, as Boston holds on to this 1-0 lead. So now at the plate, we see Rafael Devers, who did not record a hit in his last at-bat. So 0 for 1 on the day as he pops this right towards Cal Raleigh, who's going to make a quick out. And that will be the first out of this 4th inning. So George Kirby having kind of a slow-ish start, but turning it around. Not necessarily. He really only gave up the 1 homer to Cassis here, actually, who is up to bat, and that's going to be a curveball, the same pitch he gave up a homer on. But, however, other than that, he's had a pretty solid game, I'd say. That's going to be a slider in the zone for a strike. Kirby with the windup, popping it up is Cassis. Rojas on the chase. He might be able to get there. He doesn't. That's going to be fouled off. 1-2 now the count for Cassis. Kirby with the windup, swinging it, grounding it over to Crawford. He might be able to make the play here. He does just that as he throws it over to Ty France for the second out. This defense is clicking on all cylinders right now, or on all measures, however you want to say it. Valdez up to bat. He drew a walk in the first at-bat. Not exactly what we wanted to see. However, that's going to be called a strike. 0-1 that. Going to find the corner there. That's going to be called a strike. 0-2. Just doing a quick audio check. Going to find the corner there. That's going to be called a strike. Cool. All right. 0-2 now the count to Emmanuel Valdez. Top of the 4th. As we see George Kirby letting the clock run down. He's going to get him to swing and miss, and that's going to be the end of the 4th for the Boston Red Sox offense. So now up to bat, we see Luke Raley, who struck out in the first. Hopefully we can see a little bit more patience. Don't want to see a lot of strikeouts from our batters. I know that's kind of a more popular thing nowadays, but that's not something you want to see as he swings and misses at a changeup that probably could have been called a ball. Just going to look at this pitch go, and that's what we want to see. That's going to make it a 1-1 count. Looking at the pitch here, that's going to be called a strike. That's kind of an unhittable pitch for Raley, or at least not one that he's comfortable with. 1-2 now the count. He's going to swing and miss at the change, and that was in the dirt as he fooled him, and that's going to be another strikeout on Raley's stat record. Now up to bat, Cal Raleigh. Also 0 for 1, but he absolutely mashed it as that's going to tie up the ball game 1-1. Cal Raleigh taking it to deep center field. His first of the year. 426 feet by Cal Raleigh. Are you kidding me? I don't know if that ball even landed. Absolutely mashed. Damn. All right, now up to bat is JD Martinez. He's 0 for 1 on the day. Gonna check swing, but couldn't quite do it in time. That's gonna get called for a strike. 0-1 now for Martinez. Let's see what he's got. He's going to look at that one go by. That's also going to be a strike. And nope. Absolutely not. Not swinging at that. That's going to be a 1-2 count now for JD Martinez. Swing and a miss, and that's going to be another strikeout for Garrett Whitlock. Now up to bat is Julio Rodriguez, off to kind of a really bad slump, 0 for 5 to start the season. However, hopefully we can see that turn around a little bit. That's going to be called for a ball. As we see there, the 2 times that Julio Rodriguez has been an all-star, has been the 2 years he's been in the league. So, as he's also looking at a 1-on-1 count. So let's see if he can turn this around. That's close, but called a ball. But as I was saying, Julio's a pretty good talent that we're going to see turn into a amazing, if not Hall of Fame talent. Whitlock is now going to throw the pitch. That's called for a strike, evening out the count. See what Whitlock's got. That's going to be a slurve outside of the zone, making it a full count now against Julio. It's a 3-2 count. That's no good. That's going to be a walk for Julio Rodriguez. So if you're not going to get a hit, draw. It's not what we got last game, but we've seen it twice this game. So now Julio's on the base. That's a danger for any team playing defense. However, they did try to pick him off there. It did not work. And Julio's going to take off. They're going to try to throw him out, but they can't do it. That's a stolen base for Julio Rodriguez as he gets from first to second, just like that. And that's going to be in the zone. That's going to be a strike, making it a 1-1 count now for Ty France. Also in the zone is a fastball there from Garrett Whitlock. That's going to be grounded towards short. That's Story. Easy out, and nothing is going to happen from that walk out of Julio. However, we did see an absolute mash out of Cal Raleigh to tie up the game, which is amazing to see him getting off to a hot start already. Let's see if we can turn this around. We just need some good defense. So up to bat now, we're going to see Tyler O'Neill. He's 1 for 1. He got a single last time. That's going to be called for a strike. 0-1 now for Tyler O'Neill. Swung at 2 pitches early at the last time, and that's also going to be called a strike. 2 back-to-back pitches that are beneficial for George Kirby. As I was saying, last at-bat, Tyler O'Neill had 2 swings and misses early, but still found a way to get a hit nonetheless, as he's going to swing at this, and once again going down 0-2 in the count, but finding a hit. Tyler O'Neill having himself a game. Now up to bat, Reese McGuire, who popped up in the last at-bat. He's going to find the gap here. That might be trouble for Seattle here. That's not good, and that's going to send the runner home. And just like that, that's a RBI double. Oh, he might actually go to third. That's going to be an error. And just like that, he gets to third. Boston's up 2-1 on a bad play on defense there by Seattle. Nobody out. Man on third now. Trevor Story up to bat. He's 0 for 1. That's going to be called a strike. 0-1 now the count. Story not going to swing at that. 1-1. Kirby going to get him to swing and miss at that curveball there, making it a 1-2. Kirby has to find something right now. He's going to swing and foul that off too. 1-2 now the count to Story. And he's going to ground it over to France, who's going to make a routine play. And they will not test their luck and keep the man at third. Duran up to bat now, looking for an RBI chance. All he has to do is just pop it up. That's going to be called for a strike. Just got to look for the right pitch But he's going to swing and miss at that, and that's going to make it an 0-2 count. Kirby now gets him to swing and miss, and Crawford's going to make the play, and he tags. No, he doesn't. That was not fast enough, and Boston will score yet another run. Crawford trying to make a saving play there, but just cannot do it in time. And that will be Reese McGuire with the run and making it a 2-run lead. Vaughn Grissom now up to bat. He's going to swing, and that's going to be grounded to Ty. He's going to throw it to Crawford, and that will be a double play. So, nothing too bad as Boston only... Well, I mean, 2 runs is still a lot, but they did manage to score 2. However, Seattle kept it at 2. Canzone now up to bat. He grounded out in his last appearance, as he's hoping to get something going as Seattle's down yet again, as they were looking at kind of a similar fate last time, as that's a changeup outside of the zone. Canzone did definitely pitch in last time, as he got a home run as he swung on and fouled that off. As we see at the bottom there, the Red Sox got a win in extra innings against us the last time out, as that was only one more inning needed, and that swung on and missed, but still a 1-2 count. Canzone now swinging and missing again, as that's going to be a strikeout, and that is not what we want to see. Rojas now up to bat. He also grounded out his last appearance. However, he got a home run in the last game, so maybe he can play hero again. But we shall see. 0-1's the count now. He's going to pop this one up, and that should be pretty easy for Story over at short. Could even say he made that a... Now up to bat, Jorge Polanco flew out his last at-bat. Hopefully we can see something other than that this time, as he swung on and fouled that off. 0-1 now for Jorge Polanco here. Whitlock absolutely just having a phenomenal game, and that's going to be a called strike. 0-2 now for Polanco. Whitlock gets him to swing at that, but that will be a grounder right up the middle, and that will be a single for Jorge Polanco. So just like that, that's a 2-out hit for the Seattle offense, and hopefully they can kind of do something with that. So next up to bat, we see J.P. Crawford. He's got a walk and an out so far. So that would make him 0 for 1 on the day, as we see him look at a sinker there, called for a ball. 1-0 now the count, as he's going to hit that. That was absolutely crushed. However, I think Duran's going to be able to get there no problem. And just like that, that'll be the end of the 5th inning. Yoshida now to start off the 6th inning for this Boston offense, as we're seeing Kirby see the lineup for the 3rd time, but he's playing pretty good overall, as that's going to be a hit from Yoshida, and that will be a no-out single to start the 6th, so that's not really what we want to see. So we're just going to do a little mound visit here. Get Stanek ready, except there is nothing but lefties, so we'll think about that. All right. Kirby now threw a curveball, which is going to be called for a ball against Rafael Devers. He's 0 for 2 on the day as well, and he will not swing at that, making it 2-0. Devers ahead early in the count. That's going to be called for a strike for Kirby. Kirby can get a double play, that would be great. That's smashed. However, I think Rodriguez is going to be able to track this down by the warning track, and he will do just that, and that will be the first out of the 6th inning for this Boston offense. After seeing that, I really don't know that I want to see Kirby keep going, but we will. We'll see him go for at least one more batter and see what he can do. So now he's going to get a strike called for him there, and that's going to make it a 1-1 count. That won't be called a strike, however. Now it's a 2-1 count. Cassis is already ahead. Now tying it up at 2-2 with a slider there for Kirby. Hopefully he can get an out. Nope, that will be a ball on the outside. Cannot quite find the zone. Full count now against Tristan Cassis, and fouled off. Cassis now with a full count. Kirby staring him down. Swung. Crawford knocks it down. He's going to throw it over to first. Got the out, but he could not make the double play. So he does knock it down and prevents extra bases there. So that's a great play by Crawford. However, but by doing that, he can only get the 1 out at first. So now Valdez up to bat. He's 0 for 1. Looks like they're going to leave Kirby in for this, actually. That's fouled off by Manuel Valdez. Former Houston Astro here, looking to show that he remembers exactly how to hit in this park. It's not exactly going well for him. He went 0 for 4 this game, 0 for 1 this game, 0 for 4 last game, 0 for 1 this game, sorry. And he's going to ground it up to Polanco. That's going to find the seam. They're going to send a man home, and that's going to be another run and an RBI for Valdez. And just like that, I think that's going to be the end of his night that's going to be the end of the night for George Kirby. Not necessarily an amazing one. He allowed 4 runs, but we're going to see Rain Steinek replace him. Had 55 games last year with a 3-1 record, 3 holds over 50 innings of work. Had an ERA just north of 4 in that amount of innings, with a 26% strikeout rate to an 11% walk rate. So, pretty effective split. We're hoping he can kind of help out this bullpen this year. He's going to take on Tyler O'Neill, who's 2 for 2 to start the day, as he's going to line that right to Rojas, and with 1 pitch, Steinek gets us out of the inning. Up to bat now, Luke Raley, who's 0 for 2 on the day. Now down by 3 runs. We need to be a little bit more patient. Swung on and missed again. Raley just does not seem to have a lot of patience right now, as he's going to look at a ball there. We need to see more walks. We need to see more hits. Something. He's going to look at a sinker in the zone there, and that's going to be called for a strike. 1-2's now the count. Called for a ball. That's a sinker right outside of the zone. 2-2 now. Raley fouled that one off, keeping it alive at 2-2. Whitlock approaching 70 pitches now. I wondered if they are going to pull their starter anytime soon. Raley swung on and missed. That's his 3rd strikeout of the game. He has given Whitlock half of his strikeouts on the night. Cal Raleigh up to bat now. He had a monster homer in the last at-bat, as that was a change right down the middle. He probably could have homered that as well, but decided to show a little bit of patience at the plate. 0-1's now the count. And he's going to swing and miss at that sinker, and that will make it 0-2. Garrett Whitlock now has 70 pitches on the night and only allowed 1 run, so a pretty good first start of the season for him so far, as Raleigh keeps the at-bat alive by fouling it off there. 0-2 now the count, or still the count rather, for Raleigh, as he's going to, looks like, get a hit here, and he might find extra bases. And just like that, Cal Raleigh will go all the way to second. So he's got a home run and a double. What a night for Cal Raleigh. And just like that, they are going to pull Garrett Whitlock. Pretty eventful evening for him. But in comes Josh Winnickowski. Had 60 games last year with a 4-4 record. Had 19 holds in 84 innings with an ERA just south of 3. Pretty good numbers. Looking to hold us to not scoring, but you never know. As he throws a strike there, and that's going to make an 0-1 count to JD Martinez. Martinez now 0 for 6 to start the season. Not what we wanted to see out of an everyday DH, as he swings and misses at a cutter outside of the zone there. 0-2 now the count. Not going to swing at that cutter. 1-2. And fouled off, keeping it alive. 1-2 still the count for JD Martinez. Swung on and missed, and just like that, that's now his 3rd strikeout. And that will be 2 outs now for this Mariners offense. Julio now, he's 0 for 1 on the day, but he does have a walk and a stolen base. Looking to get his first hit. That's going to be called a ball. 1-0 now the count for Julio. Fouled off, 1-1. Julio definitely off to a slow start. Not what we wanted to see from him. Fouled off again, keeping it alive. Making it a 1-2 count. But yeah, off to kind of a slow start this season. Hopefully we can see him turn it around a little bit. That's going to be called for a ball, evening out the count at 2-2. Julio, he's going to smack it on over to second, but that's going to be a ground out, and just like that, that will end the 6th inning. So we will keep Rain Steineck out there against Reese McGuire, but I will be right back. We are going to take a, we'll just say scheduled break. Alright, I'm back. Let's see. How have I been sounding periodically?
0-2.
given Whitlock half of his strikeouts on the... Cool. Half of his... All right. We are back to start the 7th inning, and Reese McGuire is going to lead off the Red Sox for this inning. Steinek's going to throw a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but it will not be enough for a strike. As he's going to get Reese to swing at that. That's going to be a blooper out to left and enough for a hit as Reese gets his first hit of the season. Story now up to bat. He's 0 for 2 on the night. He's going to swing and miss at that slider. 0-1 now for him. Swinging and fouling that one back, and that's going to be 0-2. And got him just like that. That is Steinek's first strikeout of the season. So we look at the pitch sequence here, as that was a pretty effective mix-up there, pitch mix-up, and he only needed 3 pitches to get Story out. Duran up to bat now. He's 1 for 3. Gets a called strike with the splitter there. 0-1 now for Duran. And he's going to get him to pop up. Rodriguez going to track it down. That's going to be a routine play for Julio. And that will be the second out of the 7th inning. Vaughn Grissom up to bat now. He's 0 for 3. What does Steinek have? A 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but way out of the zone. And that's going to be a 1-0 count. Steinek now with a splitter down in the dirt. That's going to be called for a ball. 2-0 to Grissom. Gets a called strike with the slider just inside the zone. 2-1. Steinek with the pitch. Swung and missed. 2-2 now against Grissom. Steinek. What does he have? 2-2. No shot that was just outside of the zone. Yep. Full count now for Steinek against Grissom. Grissom not quite having as good of a night offensively as he did last time. And Steinek now against him with a full count. He gets it to foul off, keeping it alive, however. What does he have now? Steinek gets him to swing and miss with the splitter, and just like that, that's going to be the end of the 7th inning. Absolutely electric stuff we saw from Steinek that inning. That's what we like to see. Now up to bat is Ty France. He's going to call for time. We're going to go ahead and get Gabe Spear ready. Ty France now against Brennan Bernardino. And that's going to be hit, and that's going to find a little patch of grass there, and that's going to be a single for Ty France. Dominic Canzone now up to bat. He's 0 for 2. Calling for time. And we're going to go ahead and go with Mitch Haniger. He's going to go ahead and make a pitch hit appearance, and he's going to be subbed in at right field. Making the offensive change here against the left-handed pitcher. Haniger now going to smash this ball up towards center field for a single, and that seemed to be a good choice there. Now there's 2 men on with nobody out. Josh Rojas up to bat now. Gotta wonder, do you make that substitution? You make that substitution. I think we do. In comes Dylan Moore at third base for Josh Rojas. What can Dylan Moore do for us today? And he's going to smash the ball to center field, but that's going to be a line out to Duran. And that will be the first out. So that was almost 3 back-to-back even singles. So now we're going to have to see Jorge Polanco come up to bat with 1 out. He's going to smash that over to third. That's going to be a tag and double play, and that will end the 7th inning. So just like that, we had 2 guys stranded on base, and that's not what we want to see. So Haniger is now going to be our right fielder for the rest of the game. And we're also going to see Dylan Moore take the position of third base. And we will have a new pitcher come in. And it'll be Gabe Spear, who had 1 appearance already for 2/3 of an inning and got a 50% strikeout rate. I'm assuming he struck out 1 of his 2 batters. Did not allow a run, though. So hopefully he can keep that going with this appearance, as Yoshida is now up to bat. And he's going to look at a fastball high and up, and that will be called for a ball. 1-0 now the count. That's going to be grounded up the middle, and just like that, that will be a single for Yoshida. Devers now up to bat. He's 0 for 3 on the day. He's going to look at a change called for a ball. Another ball. 2-0 now the count. That's going to be towards France, towards Crawford, and double play. He threw it back to Spear. 3-6-1 double play. So our defense has at least been somewhat okay outside of a couple bad pitches. That's going to be a changeup called for a strike. Cassis had 1 home run today so far, and it's been only 1 run of their 4, but still pretty effective. That's going to go back to Spear, and that will be the final out of the 8th inning, or the final out for Boston's half of the 8th inning. And now up, we see Kenley Jansen, who, if I remember correctly, definitely was not necessarily fun to bat against. But up to bat, we see J.P. Crawford. Hopefully he can get a rally going. That's going to be called for a ball. 1-0 now the count. Crawford 0 for 2 on the day. However, he does have a walk. And he is also ahead in the count right now. He's going to foul that one off. This offense has not really shown a lot of life throughout both of the games to this point. Hopefully, we can see something. Crawford now looking at a 1-1 count. He's going to foul it off again. 1-2. Crawford now. Looking at a ball, that's going to make it 2-2. We need something to go for our offense here. 2-2 the count now against Kenley Jansen. And that's going to be popped up and caught by the right fielder. That should be Tyler O'Neill out there. And that's going to be their first out of the bottom of the 8th. So now Luke Raley up to bat. 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Not a great game for him. Let's see what he's got here, however. Kenley Jansen has a little bit of work so far, and that's going to be a ball. That was his 6th pitch, but he also made an appearance last game too. But that is still a ball. 1-0 is the count for Luke Raley. We're seeing a little bit more patience from him. That's fouled off, however, and that will make it a 1-1 count. The count being 1-1 here. Luke Raley going to swing and miss at a fastball right down the middle. Those are the ones you really want to see him get at least a knock on. 1-2. Fouled off. Luke Raley keeping it alive at least. Let's see if he can get at least a base hit here. Luke Raley. Swinging and missing. That's going to be a 4th strikeout, as his plate vision has seemed very questionable today. And up to bat next will be Cal Raleigh. He's 2 for 3 on the day. He's got a home run and a double and an RBI. He's the only guy seemingly doing much for this offense so far. But hopefully he can start something right now. Swung and missed, and that's going to be an 0-1 count. 0-1. Kenley Jansen with the wind up. That's going to be a cutter outside of the zone, and that's going to be a ball. One and one now for Raleigh. That's going to be fouled off. Raleigh definitely taking his time. Saw a pitch that he liked there, but could only foul it off. 1-2. That's going to be a ball. That's a slider that forced Raleigh off the plate, or outside of his stance at least. 2-2 now the count. And that's going to be another ball, and that's going to make it a full count. 3-2. Is it a walk or is it a strike? We'll see. And that's going to be fouled off. Cal Raleigh keeping it alive once again. So if you picked either of those options, you were wrong. Well, technically it's considered a strike, but I don't know. You tell me. All right, fouled off once again by Cal Raleigh. That was the 7th pitch at the at-bat there. What is going to happen with the 8th? And that is crushed, but way off in foul territory. Keeping it alive once again. 3-2. Let's see what the outcome will be. And crushed by Cal Raleigh once again. On the 9th pitch of that at-bat, he sends that ball absolutely yard. Cal Raleigh with 2 home runs, a double, and 2 RBIs this game. Absolutely unreal. That brings it at least a little bit closer. Granted, it's just a solo shot, but man, does that help out. 3 for 4 on the night for Cal Raleigh. But up to bat, we see J.D. Martinez, who's 0 for 3. He has 3 strikeouts on the night. Can he turn it around here? That's going to be a fastball in the zone. That's going to be called for a strike. 0 for 1. Kenley Jansen gets him to swing and miss with a slider there. That had some serious break on that pitch. Oh, 2 now. Swung on and missed. The 4th strikeout for J.D. Martinez. And just like that, that will end the 8th inning. So I didn't exactly have another pitcher plan. So we're going to go ahead and go with Spear against Valdez at least. And that's going to be a ball against Valdez. So while that's getting ready, I don't know here. We're just going to go ahead and warm up Matt Brash and Gregory Santos. Why not? 1-0 now the count to Valdez. Spear gets absolutely rocked on that pitch. That will be a single for Valdez. All right, we do not want you We're going to go ahead and just put Matt Brash in. All right, Matt Brash now in the game. His second appearance of the season against Tyler O'Neill, who's 2 for 3 on the day. The man on first with no outs, and that's fouled off. 0-1 with a nasty slurve there from Matt Brash, and that's going to make it a 0-2 count. And gets him to foul it off there, keeping it alive. Swung on and missed. Matt Brash gets a strikeout for his first batter that he saw tonight. To bat now is Reese McGuire, who's having himself a night as well. He's 2 for 3. That's going to be a slurve just underneath the zone for a ball. 1-0 now the count. He's going to try stealing. That's going to be way off, and that will be a stolen base for Emmanuel Valdez. 1-1 now the count to Reese McGuire. He's going to pop this up. That's going to be Julio there, and that will be the second out of the 9th inning. Trevor Story up to bat. He's 0 for 3. Brash, 99-mile-an-hour fastball, just missing the zone. 1-0 to Story. He's going to pop it up, however, on the very next pitch to Haniger, and that will wrap up the top of the 9th, and we will offense can find something, as we will see Julio, Ty France, and Mitch Haniger all up to bat next. We will see Chris Martin come in. He allowed 1 run in the last appearance. However, could not quite claim that save opportunity. But he's looking to do just that this time around. And we, once again, want to spoil that for him. However, he does have a 1-0 record, though. Got credit for that. That splitter's way down in the dirt. Julio will check swing that. That will be called a strike. That's going to be a slider in the zone. 0-2 now the count. Julio still looking for his first hit. That's fouled off. That was a fastball damn near in the dirt. Fourth pitch of the night for Martin. That's going to be popped up by Julio, and that's going to be close to the warning track, but Tyler O'Neill will make the grab for the first out. Ty France up to bat now. He's 1 for 3 on the night. Looking to maybe even get another hit, and he might do just that. That's a blooper to center, but Duran will go ahead and run it down for the second out, as we are down to the final out of this ball game. We are down by 2. The score is 4-10. 4-10 is crazy. 4-2, as Mitch Haniger is up to bat. He got a single in his last plate appearance. However, don't know that we will be seeing much more batters after this, however. He is now 1-1 on the count, however. That is absolutely mashed by Mitch Haniger, and just like that, we're down by only 1 run now. What an absolute crazy hit by Mitch Haniger in the bottom of the 9th. 445 feet for Mitch Haniger's first home run on the season. 445 yards would have been crazy, but no, just feet. Yeah, wear that helmet. Take that trident. You deserve it, Mitch Haniger. So now up to bat is Dylan Moore. Couldn't quite get a hit in his last at-bat, but we'll see what he can do this time. He's going to get a hit. That's crushed out to right. That might do something, and that is also gone. Are you kidding me? Back-to-back home runs. Dylan Moore and Mitch Haniger, both subs, both getting their first home runs, tying up this ball game. Dylan Moore crushes the first pitch he saw there, and it barely dinks off the foul post. So just like that, we tie up the game in the bottom of the 9th inning in back-to-back games. Are you kidding me? Just when you thought this game was over, the Mariners crawled back and got 2 back-to-back 2-out jacks just like that. Boston's going to go ahead and send in Isaiah Campbell. Last year had 27 appearances with a 4-1 record, had 2 holds and 28 innings of work, had an ERA just south at 3 with a strikeout rate of 31. Polanco now up to bat with 2 outs. All he needs is just 1 more home run, and that could seal this ball game. Down to the final out. We're going to go ahead and get Munoz ready, however, if there is a 10th inning. Now 0-1 is the count to Polanco. He's going to look at a slider. That's going to be called for a strike. 1-3 on the day. Looking at an 0-2 count. Can Polanco find something on a plot of grass? And that is mashed towards center, but I think Duran's going to be able to get there, and that's going to be hauled on. And we will head to extra innings for the 2nd time in a row to start the season. Just when you thought it was over, back-to-back jacks from Dylan Moore and Mitch Haniger. Are you kidding me? So we're going to see Munoz come in now, as he had an opportunity last game, but could not quite get it done as he allowed a run. And that unfortunately allowed us to lose the game. So now he's going to see Jarren Duran into bat. Top of the order. He's 1 for 4 on the day. Going to look at a sinker. That's going to be called for a ball. 1-0 now to Duran. He's going to swing. That's going to be out to Raley. Runner's going to try going home. Raley with the throw, tag, and he's not going to get there. Luke Raley with the defensive throw. Let's go. So just like that, that's the first out, and Trevor Story was feeling very sure of himself there, but he got thrown out. That keeps this game alive. Duran, however, now on base, and he is very fast, so you got to watch out for that. Vaughn Grissom now up to bat. He's 0 for 4 on the game. And Duran's going to try to steal it, and he will do just that. He's going to get his 2nd stolen base of the evening. One now, the count to Grissom, as he's going to swing and miss at that slider, making it 1-2. And swinging and missing at a 101-mile-an-hour fastball for the 2nd out will be Vaughn Grissom. He is now 0 for 5 on the day. This defense absolutely showing up when it is needed, both from the pitching and from the outfield as well. Yoshida up now to bat. He's 2 for 4 on the day. Had a man at 2nd. That's Duran. He's going to look at a sinker, called for a strike there. 0-1 now the count. Another pitch on the way. That's a slider. Should have been called for a strike, but it's not. 1-1 now the count. Fouling off a 102-mile-an-hour fastball by Munoz there is Yoshida. That'll make it a 1-2 count. Down to the final strike. What does Yoshida have? 2-4 on the day. Looking at another ball, 2-2. Two and two. He's going to look at a final strike there, as that was a generous call, and that will wrap up the top of the 10th inning. Munoz absolutely electric. See Luke Raley with an amazing throw to throw out, Trevor Story. Jorge Polanco is starting on second. I'm fine with that. I don't want anyone else. You know what? Let's have Samad Taylor come in. Why not? All we need is just one run. Let's just focus on this inning. Let's just try to get through this. Samad Taylor now at second. He's going to be substituted in for Polanco. That's going to be a fastball from Campbell. 0-1 now is J.P. Crawford. Oh no. That's going to be bad base running by Samad Taylor, and he should have just kept on going. That's going to be the first out. J.P. Crawford now with a lot bigger of a task. 1-1 now the count. He's 0 for 3. Not quite as good of a day on offense for him as last game. As he crushes that, and that might be gone if it stays fair, and it does not. That would have been incredible if he got a walk-off home run. 1-2 now the count for J.P. Crawford. And he crushes another one foul. JP really wants to put the team on his back. Can he do it? 1-2 now the count. Not going to swing at that, evening out the count. 2-2 now. JP's going to find a plot of grass, and that will be a hit for JP. He's now 1 for 4. So he couldn't quite get the home run to seal the deal, but he gets a hit and keeps us at just 1 out. Luke Raley now 0 for 4. Can he get something going? His ratings show that he definitely can hit against righties, so hopefully he can. 4 strikeouts, though, on the day. That was a good pitch. Not much he could have done there. 0-1 now the count for Luke. Swung on and missed. 0-2. What does he have? Fouled off. Can we see the Mariners do something here? In the dirt, no. 1-2 now the count for Luke Raley. And fouled off, so Luke Raley keeping it alive. And he's going to actually make contact here. That might find absolutely nothing. It finds Tyler O'Neill's glove. So Luke Raley at least didn't strike out there. So the man, the myth, the legend up next. Cal Raleigh. 2 home runs. 2 home runs and a double in this game. We don't necessarily need a home run right now, but it sure would be amazing to see him go yard 3 times in one game. He's going to look at a fastball there, though. 0-1 now the count. And that's going to be called for a ball, evening out the count at 1-1. Got a man. Nope. Trying to get Cal to swing at something. That's a 2-1 count now. Cal Raleigh, are you kidding me? A walk-off home run, 2-run homer. 3 home runs for the game. And just like that, we walked it off with a 454-foot home run. Absolutely ridiculous stuff from Cal Raleigh today. Are you kidding me? Dead center, too. It couldn't get any better than that. Let's take another look here. Oh my lord, that thing got rocked. With that home run, we will walk away victorious 6-4 as the final score. Absolutely crazy. Munoz with the victory, got the loss last game, turned it right around with the win this game. Oh my, I think the MVP of this game has to go to Cal Raleigh with 3 home runs. Are you kidding me? 3 home runs, 3 RBIs. That's just mind-boggling to me. 4 for 5 and a double, not to mention. Munoz 2 strikeouts. That's just unbelievable stuff. I mean, Rayleigh, Martinez, Julio, and Rojas didn't get a hit, but other than that, everybody was on point. Mitch Haniger with a home run, Dylan Moore with a game-tying bottom of the 9th home run, Cal Raleigh with 3 himself. I mean, come on, that is 5 alone right there. That is insane work from our guys. I mean, impressive stuff, to say the least. Yeah, I just don't know what to say other than we gotta go ahead and wrap that one up. Amazing stuff. That's exactly what you want to see. Let's go ahead and advance the day. We'll just go ahead and fix that. Nuts. So that's how he got called up. Well, he got utilized his first game. So, how about that, man? How about that? All right. Well, with that, I think that should go ahead and wrap this one up. It's not much better than you can do than that. Mr. Cal Raleigh himself putting the team on his back in that last game. But with that being said, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish up this stream here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh, shit. I done the wrong thing.